Welcome back to GateX AIML. So we'll continue with the probability distribution. Today we'll see marginal probability distribution. In the last video we have seen the joint probability distribution. So I explained why we need that. And one more probability distribution is called marginal probability distribution. And after this we'll see the last one, the conditional probability distribution. So let us try to understand marginal. So marginal means to get the marginal value of the distribution. So what exactly it means? Let us say given the joint probability distribution. So let us say f x comma y is a joint probability distribution. So it can be applied both for discrete as well as continuous cases. Okay, let x and y be two random variables. So in this case, they are taking say discrete. First, let us understand discrete random variables case. The probability distribution g of x of x alone is obtained by summing f of x comma y over the values of y, and the probability distribution h y of y alone is obtained by summing f of x comma y over the values of x. These are called the marginal distributions of x and y respectively. So what exactly it means? Let us see the mathematical definition, then it will be easy to understand. For a discrete random variables, given f of x comma y is the joint probability mass function. This is our joint PMF is given. What is marginal distribution for x, for random variable x? So marginal means we will only consider one of the variables and then calculate its probability distribution using the joint PMF. So let us represent it by g of x. So see, there are two random variables x and y. So in this example, in this concept, we are discrete random variables. Now, what the definition says, to obtain the marginal probability distribution of x represented as g of x. G of x here represents the marginal probability distribution is obtained by summing the joint PMF over the values of y. Similarly, h of y is the joint probability distribution f of x comma y. H of y is marginal probability distribution. This is obtained by summing the joint PMF over the values of x. So what it means? So just understand like this. So when you find marginal distribution of x, fix x, okay, fix x, and then sum over. Fix x means, if you remember the PMF table, if the values of x are 0, 1, 2, 3, that is the rows. So fix, for example, if I am finding g of 0. So in that, your PMF, the joint PMF, these are the x values. So these are the y values. So if you want to calculate g of 0, that is marginal distribution of x equal to 0, fix this row and then add all these values whatever get here. This gives the marginal probability distribution for g of 0. Similarly for g of 1, fix this row and then add all these values in the columns. That is sum over y. Similarly, if I want h of y, fix y and then sum over these values in columns. That is sum over all the x values. That gives you the marginal distribution. Then for the continuous case, same thing. It is bounded by the area and the volume here. Probability is bounded by the volume. So instead of the summation, will have integral minus infinity to infinity f of x comma y dy, because x is fixed. So you are integrating it over y. It means adding over y. Similarly for h of y, marginal probability distribution of y is given as f of x comma y, that is joint PDF, and integrate over x. Because x is varying here, y is fixed here. Here x is fixed, y is varying. So that is the definition. We will see some examples, you will understand. So they are given, calculate the marginal distributions of x and y given the joint PDF. Okay. They are given, sorry, it should be PMF because it is discrete. Joint PMF is given. You find out the marginal distributions. So let us calculate. There are x, there is x and y, two random variables. No? So you represent g of x as the marginal probability distribution of x. Here you represent it as h of y for random variable y. Now, marginal probability distribution is g of 0 is equal to, see what it says, summation of over y f of x comma y. F of x comma y is already given here. This is the joint PDF, PMF. Now, so when g of 0 means what? X equal to 0. You fix these rows and then add all these column values. So g of 0 is 3 by 28 plus 3 by 14 plus 1 by 28. So we'll get some answer, okay? We make it as 6 by 28. So the answer will be what? 10 by 28. Similarly, g of 1. G of 1 is 6 x equal to 1 and then add summation over y. This is what it is saying, summation over y. So we will get 9 by 28 plus 3 by 14 plus 0. This is again 6 by 28. Let us write it. So it will be easy to add. 15 by 28. Now g of 1 or 2 is fix this x and then sum over y. 3 by 28 plus 0 plus 0. This is 3 by 28. So these are called as the marginal probability distribution values. Now similarly for h of y, h of 0 equal to, so how will you do? h of x y is equal to, you sum over x value by fixing the y value, f of x comma y, that is joint PMF. So y equal to 0 means, h of 0 means y equal to 0. So you fix this column and then add these values. So we'll get 15 by 28. Next, h of 1 means fix this value, y equal to 1 and then add over it. We'll get 3 by 7. It's already here. H of 2 is equal to, fix this y equal to 2, then add these values, 1 by 28. So this is the marginal probability distribution for random variable y. Similarly for your PDF, it is continuous function. So x and y are here continuous random variables, and the probability density function of joint PDF is given as 4xy, and the interval is given here 0 to 1 and 0 to 1 respectively, x and y. Find the marginal density of x, g of x. Find the marginal density function of y, h of y. You will get a single value, right? Because this is not the summation. There we get f of 0 plus f of like that, but here it is a single value. So how will you find? So g of x is equal to minus infinity to infinity f of x comma y. Okay. So dy, because fixing the x, integrate over y. So g of x is equal to, they are given the interval. What is the interval? What is the value you are integrating over? This, okay, not this. Please be careful, because you have fixed the x is fixed. So it will be 0 to 1. F of x comma y dy is given as 4xy dy. This we will get it as 0 to 1. Sorry. So 4x is constant now because you are integrating over y. So x is treated as constant 4x. Then integration of y dy is y square by 2 in the interval 1 0. So this is 2x. So this is the marginal density function for x. Similarly, h of y is equal to minus infinity infinity f of x comma y dx, because we are integrating over x now. Y is fixed. So we are calculating the marginal value of this. This is equal to the interval for x is 0 to 1, 4xy dx. This comes out to be 4y will be constant now because we are integrating 4x. 4x, 4y is constant. Integration of x is x square by 2 in the interval 1 0. So this comes out to be 2y. Okay. So this is how you find. Next. So now we'll see what is this conditional probability distribution. This is a very important concept for your machine learning algorithms. You already have seen this conditional probability, that is p of some value given some value. Okay, p of x given y equal to p of x intersection y divided by p of y. Now if it is a distribution, there it's a simple probability. Using Bayes theorem you solved many problems. Here it's a distribution. So we started with joint distribution, then we learned marginal distribution. I will learn those two concepts because we need to apply them in the conditional probability distribution. The joint probability distribution is for multiple variables. In the real world, I told you, the applications requires multiple variables because multiple data features or anything is present in your data. So multiple features are present in your data. So for that reason, you use joint probability distribution. Then you found out marginal probability distribution. Now we'll see what is this conditional probability distribution. Let x and y are be discrete random variables. The conditional distribution of y given x equal to x is, see, given x equal to x, p of y equal to y. Previously, how you wrote the simple probability p of y given x equal to p of y intersection x divided by p of x, right? Same thing here, only thing extend it to the distribution. So p of y equal to y given x equal to x is equal to f of x comma y divided by g of x. See, the definition is very simple. What is this? This is joint PMF in case of the discrete random variables. What is this? This is nothing but marginal probability mass function. That's it. So f of x comma y can be written as p of x equal to x comma y equal to y divided by p of x equal to x, because given this value. So that is the marginal distribution. So simply also you can write some notations like f of y given x is equal to f of x y divided by g of x. So we can write. Similarly for when x given y, so y is given x changes. Only thing is instead of g of x, you are fixing y, right? That only changes. And then the area between this is given by, for example, if I want to find a less than x less than b given y equal to y. So how will you find? So it is summation of in that interval. See what is fixed here? Y is fixed. So you have to add over the value of x and they are given specific interval here ab. In that interval ab, what all points you get, you add by over the value of x by fixing y value. Once you see the example, you will understand. Similarly, for the continuous random variables, how will you find? f of y given x equal to f of xy by g of x. That is the standard definition. What is g of x equal to? Here already have seen this, no? Marginal distribution. And then similarly f of x given y. Here instead of summation we add it. Probability of x between a and b, that is x is varying, y is fixed, given y is given as integral a to b f of x given y dx. How will you find this? Like this. So that is conditional probability distribution. Very simple. So we'll take few examples and we'll try to understand. So the joint PMF is given here. This is the same problem that we have solved for the joint PMF. So what they are asking here is, they are asking you to find the conditional probability density, or sorry, PMF. So P of x equal to 2 given y equal to 0. So what this means, they already given you the joint PMF. Joint PMF is given. You have to find the conditional probability distribution of this. So they are asking for particular values here. So P of x equal to 2, y equal to 0. How will you find? This is nothing but f of x comma y conditional PMF. Sorry, that is your joint PMF divided by the y is fixed here. Because given y, that means y is fixed. So x will change. So what is that? You will write h of y. That is marginal distribution. How will you find it now? This is equal to f of, what is the x value? They already given it as 2. And then y is 0. F of 2 comma 0 divided by h of y. F of 2 comma 0 directly I can find it from this PMF table, right? So they already given joint PMF table. From that I can easily find what is that. F of 2 0, that is 3 by 28. Now divided by h of y, the marginal distribution of y. So h of y is equal to, what is y value? 0. So h of 0 is equal to what? You fix the 0 column, this y equal to 0 column, and then add those. So what you will get? You will get it as 15 by 28. This is already calculated, right? If they are not given this table, then you have to calculate that. 15 by 28. So divide it by 15 by 28. So you will get 1 by 5. Next. So one more example. A fair six-sided die is rolled twice. Okay. A die is rolled twice here, roll 1 and roll 2. Let x be the number of outcomes of the first roll. Let us represent it by like x. And y be the sum of the rolls. Okay. So let us say y value is given as sum of the rolls. Now let us represent this by some value, say b, because y is sum of that. So what they are saying is x plus b is equal to y. So what are the possible values x and b can take? So it's a six-sided die, so it can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Here also the b can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, now you can find the joint PMF table and then calculate this value. So what is that they are asking? P of x equal to 3 given y equal to 7. This is equal to what? F of x comma y divided by h of y. First you have to find this f of x joint PMF, and then you have to find this marginal probability, that is marginal probability mass function. Now that is a very lengthy procedure, but you can just check here. Okay, in such kind of questions you need not sit and calculate all these things. See, they are saying this is the value, and then they are also have given you these values. Okay, just check here how to solve this. Now I need to find the y is already fixed. And for this 3, they are asking what is the probability, that is your conditional probability given y equal to 7. How will you find this? Now I can write it as x equal to y minus b, right? So x is equal to, what is y value here? 7, that is fixed, minus b. So b can take different values, right? This b can be any of these values for which the sum will be 7. See, what is that I want? I have to get 7 and I add these two numbers x plus b. I am trying to find what are the possible combinations. So let us draw a small table kind of thing. Let us say this is my x, this is my b. So b can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When b is 1, what is x? 7 minus b. This will be 6. When b is 2, x is 5. Okay. When b is 3, x is 4. When b is 4, x is 3. Then when b is 5, x is 2. And then 1. What are total outcomes? Outcomes is equal to, how many are there? 6. 6 outcomes, right? That is the pair 6, 1, 6, 5, 2, 4, 3, then 3, 4, 2, 5, and then 1, 6. Total 6 outcomes, which will form you 7. These are the only 6 outcomes which will give the total sum as 7. Now out of this, what is the probability that x equal to 3 given y equal to 7? I have already found out given y is 7. So these are the outcomes. Out of this, which one is x equal to 3? How many are there? There is only one. So observe, this is the only one combination out of 6 which gives me this probability. So that is the answer. Even if you solve like this, you will get, but it is a very lengthy procedure. Most of the questions in the competitive exams, they will ask similar thing where you can just logically think and solve them quickly. Next. Let x and y have a joint PDF. So now you'll see the continuous case. They are given the joint PDF as 8xy in the interval x belongs to 0 to 1 and y belongs to 0 to x. Now find y given x. This is nothing but f of x comma y divided by x is fixed here. So g of x, marginal probability of x. So this is equal to, what is f of xy? They already given it as 8xy divided by g of x. I want to find this g of x, that is marginal probability density of x. How will you find it? This is given as minus infinity to infinity. Marginal means there are, which one you will fix now? X is fixed, so y is that you have to take. So now it is 8 xy dy because you are integrating over y because x is fixed, that is already given. Next, so what are the intervals? Y varies between 0 to x. So lower bound is 0, upper bound is x. 8 xy dy. This is equal to, you just integrate now. Integrate, the x is constant here. So keep it outside, 8x y square divided by 2. Integration of y dy is y square by 2 in the interval 0 to x. So this will be equal to 8x into x square by 2. It is equal to 4x cube. So substitute here. G of x value found out, 8xy divided by 4x cube, that is equal to 2y divided by square. This is f of y given x. Next. The joint density of random variables x comma y, where x is a unit temperature change. So x is unit temperature. Unit means 1. Okay. Unit temperature change. X represents unit temperature change. Y represents capital Y, the random variable. Proportion of spectrum shift. So proportion of spectrum shift of a certain atomic particle. The joint density is given as 10 xy square in the interval 0 less than x, x less than y less than 1. Now, what is that you have to find? Find the conditional density of f of y given x. F of y given x is equal to f of x comma y divided by, so x is fixed, so g of x. F of xy is already given to you. What is that? 10x y square divided by g of x. You have to find g of x. What is g of x? G of x equal to, g of x is equal to integration. What is the 10xy square? So I am changing dy, that is y value, right? I am integrating over y, so dy. So what is the interval of y? Y is between x to 1. So x is the lower bound, 1 is the upper bound. Now you integrate with respect to y. This becomes, the 10x is constant here. What is the integration of y square? Y square is y cube by 3 in the interval x 1. This will be equal to 10x into 10x by 3. You can take this 3 outside into y cube means 1. If I put 1, this is 1 minus x cube. So this is my g of x. So substitute here, 10x y square divided by 10x by 3, 1 minus cube. So this will be equal to, we will get it as 3 y square divided by 1 minus cube. Okay. Next, what is B? Find the probability that spectrum shifts more than half. Spectrum means y. Shifts more than half given that temperature is increased by 0.25. Increased by means what? Not addition here. The proportion of spectrum shift. The shift means increase or decrease. So the value directly they are given. What are the values they are given? And what is that you have to find? So basically they are saying the probability of spectrum shifts more than half. Spectrum is represented by y. More than half means greater than 1 by 2 given x is equal to what? 0.25. So again, this is equal to f of 1 by 2. What is the maximum value of y? Maximum is 1. It is less than, greater than y and less than 1. It is greater than x and less than 1. So 1 is the maximum value. Now what is that value I got? 3y square divided by 1 minus x cube. You already found out it, no? 3y square divided by 1 minus x cube. Okay, this one. You already have got this function f of yx you already got, but this is in the interval, this given interval, but I have to change that interval now, right? That's what I am doing. So entire whatever is this, I calculated here as a single function, but this function is for the given interval. Now I have to change the interval in this. Okay, so x is already fixed, so I am integrating with dy. What will be this value? 1 by 2, 1, 3y square divided by 1 minus what is x value? Already they are given. So substitute it 0.25 whole cube dy. So if you integrate it, you will get it as 8 divided by 9. Okay, we will solve many problems, practice problems in the next video. Then you will be more clear about it. And also I will give you some more problems for yourself to try. So thank you for watching. So we'll continue in the next video with more problems on this.